Hi everybody, this is Shanna with Shanna Sweets, an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in the Midwest. Thank you for joining me for this online class using Bonsai Buddies stamp set. I've included the die cut so you didn't have to purchase the bundle, but it does come together if you wanted to. In your kit, you would have received the card supplies to make this stamp, the cards in this class. You would have received a supply list, the cardstock, some pom-poms, and a roll of ribbon to make 8 cards. Your supply list has the pictures of the cards and the measurements to cut your DSP for each card. Let's get started making these cards. There's enough card supplies to make 2 of each card, 4 designs for each one. My glue just came, my pom-pom just came off this one, so let me fix that quick. All right, let's start with we're going to start with this one right here, and you will need a paper trimmer for this one. I'm just going to show you how to cut a couple pieces because I have a bunch of mine cut already, but this one here, you might want to make it last just so that you have your DSP cut first, but you don't really need too much because like this one here, I'm just got a piece that is 2.5 inches by 5.5 inches, so it really doesn't take very much. So if you just want to cut off about that big, you'll get enough probably for both your cards. So you're just going to take this piece and then angle it on your paper trimmer. So you want maybe a little thin here and wide here, or wide there and thin there, it doesn't really matter. And just so that it comes out like that, okay? And just do that along, and just vary your widths. So make some skinnier, some longer, just different shapes and sizes. I want that one just to be a little bit, okay? So then see all these different shapes, that's what we want. And see, this is 2-sided paper, so I can use the candles on one side and the ice cream cones on the other. And I did that with several different papers. So I have a pile here of all kinds of different DSP right here. So actually I can use this to make several different cards. Okay. And then you have some die cuts in your packet. So we're going to stamp the toucan, a sentiment, a hat, and 3 balloons. We're going to use the Memento ink for our toucan, and you really want to stamp him up very good. If you have not conditioned this stamp, you want to stamp off a couple times to condition your stamp. These are photopolymers, so you can see through them. And then just stamp it on the die cut. Make sure you use something cushiony underneath your image so you get a nice clean cut. And then in your stamp set, you will see a little beak for the toucan. It's this little stamp set right there. And I'm going to use my Mango Melody that was listed on the supplies as needed, and I'm going to stamp it off once and then just stamp over my beak, just like that. And then my balloon, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to stamp off and then stamp on my balloon. And I'm going to do the, you can choose, I'm going to do the Mango Melody twice, stamping off both times so that it's lighter. Clean my stamp, and then I'm going to use the Bermuda Bay, and I'm going to stamp off with that so that I get a lighter image. And right there. Now I'm going to use the hat. And I'm going to, let's see, what color do I want my hat? I think I'm going to do my hat in the Bermuda Bay. Okay. And let's see, my sentiment is going to be, let's celebrate. I'm going to do that in Bermuda. This is using the classic label punch. And remove my inks so I don't put anything in them. I'm going to put a, where's my glue dots? Get a glue dot here for my hat. Let's go ahead and put my hat on my toucan so I don't lose it. I'm going to go ahead and grab a pom-pom. So I got that on my hat. You can use wet glue or glue dot. All right, let's set these things. Take your white 4 by 5 1/4, and I am going to use wet glue for these pieces. So let's see, let's put some glue there. I'm going to line this up on, leave just a little bit of a white edge, but I'm going to go clear to the bottom here on that one, put a white edge there. Take your paper snips, turn it over, and trim. And there is your card front. Okay, now this piece here is 1 3/4 by I I thought this was, yeah, 5 1/2. So it's your whole card front. And then you're going to take your ruched ribbon and you're going to have a long enough piece to go around the front. And you're going to secure that down. So go ahead and secure your card base down first, so that way this all goes down on the front. And this can go down then take another piece of ribbon and tie a bow. And then you have your little label here. I'm going to use a couple mini dots. They fit a little better.
Love these little mini dimensionals here.
So put that there, and then grab some other dimensionals here for our little toucan. And then I'm going to grab the strings and stamp them right here next to our beak. And then I can use some glue to put my balloons down, and then use a dimensional to pop up the middle one. And there is card number 1. Going to start with stamping our koala bear. And to stamp the koala bear, you want to start by inking in the Memento Black, and then you stamp off first, and then stamp him towards the bottom part of your oval. And that'll give you a gray koala bear. Then you can stamp his face in the black, and then just stamp that over the face of the koala bear. Then you can stamp the hat, which I'm going to do in the Bermuda. On our triangle. And then I'm going to do this one with the happy birthday in the mango. And that just goes on our circle. Just like that. Now, the hat goes right on top of our koala bear. I'm going to take a pom-pom with a glue, if I don't keep dropping the pom-pom, with a glue dot. I think I'll use some wet glue and put that on top of my daffodil scallop. And then that gets so here is our DSP, which is 5" by 2", and it's going to go on a 2 and I believe this is 2 1/8 by 5 1/8. And it's going to go over this mango. And this mango, we're going to take the one that's for the balloon, and you're going to just take your balloon in mango and dot it. And I kind of did a couple that were lighter, so a couple 2-step, and then just all over the front. Probably should have, let me put a piece of scratch paper so I can go off the edge. I don't want to do that on my paper there. And I'm just going all over the front of my of course, this is where our DSP is going to go, so you don't really have to go there, but so this goes down first, and then this ribbon, we're going to have 2 strips. So these 2 strips are going to go kind of next to each other, like that. So fold them over and then secure it. It's easier to do one side. So whatever distance you want them. And then fold them over again and secure it. Okay? So then you have 2 layers like that. And you have 8 1/2 by 5 1/2. I have an extra white paper. This was for your Bermuda card. It goes on the inside. I forgot to layer that one on the inside. But Bermuda's hard to write in. So then our little guy here, and this one is going to go on the front of our card. Just like that. Card number 2. Okay, card number 3. Okay, we're going to need the scrap paper again for card number 3. You're going to use the one that looks like one of the rectangle presents. and I'm going to use the Bermuda. I need to get it closer to me. So I'm going to start up in the corner. I'm going to stamp it. Now if you stamp off, I'm going to do some two-step stamping, but when you stamp off the edge, if you try to stamp again, it'll leave that line from where it's stamped off, so you can't really do the two-step stamping with the same thing. So I stamped it again, stamp off on scratch paper, then stamp onto the tag, stamp, stamp. I'm going to come down, I'm going to stagger between the two that I just did, stamp. Now because that's solid, I can do the two-step, stamp. Otherwise, if I tried, see how that left that mark? If I tried to stamp, that's what would have happened. So yeah, ask me how I know. All right, so there's my card decorated there. All right, and then I'm going to take, let's see, I think, let's go ahead, I want to put this together a little bit, and then I'll do the rest of my stamping. Okay, so this is an 8.5 by 1.5, 8.5 by 5.5 folded. Then I have a piece of Bermuda that's 4 5.25, and that's going to go down. Okay. Then my DSP is 3.5 by 4 3/4, and it's going to go down. Then we've cut the tag that's in the DSP and ran it through the Coastal Weave embossing folder, and it's going to go at an angle. And then the other one that we just did is going to go at this angle. And then I'm going to make a, let's see, let's run this through the top and then tie a bow. Okay. Now, so that is the bulk of our card. Then we're going to stamp another toucan. Okay, so there's our toucan. We're going to stamp the sentiment in mango. We're going to stamp some balloons. Let's do one in First Step Mango, then Second Step Mango, then Bermuda. Let's do it in the lighter shade. Okay. Then let's do our hat. Let's do our hat. My stamp is needing washed. It's not wanting to stick well. If your stamps get all loosey-goosey like that, if you wash them with soap, Dawn soap, then they get the re-sticky on there. Okay, now I'm going to this time take a little bit of water here in a cap, if I can not spill it this time, and I have a little bit of ink in my lid here, and if I am very gentle, then I can color my beak. And the more water you have, the lighter. So see, that is a little bit lighter than the top part. So let's put some dimensionals on our bird. Let's put a glue dot on his hat. And then he can go down right there, and then I can stamp his I think I got him just a little too tall there. We need to lower him down on my card. There we go. Then I can put some glue I like to just pop up the one that's on top. That way it stands out a little bit more. Like that. And then those mini dimensionals for the sentiment here is going to go down here at the bottom. And let's see, let's do a white. We have not done any white balls, so these pom-poms have like 4 different colors. I love these pom-poms. And that's card number 3. Card number 4 has a little bit of a fancy fold in it. We're going to take the first one, which is 8.5 by 4.5, and just fold it in half. the bottom layer, which is going to go down right. The bottom is just 4 by 5 1/4. But first you have this large nesting die, and I have come in and scored it. I believe it was at, let me just double check, at 3 inches in. So that's actually 3 inches from this mark. So from that part to here, it's 3 inches. I have scored it. So then that's going to go like that. And I'm going to take a piece of tearaway tape. On the inside right here, a couple pieces just like that. And I'm just going to line it up like there. Okay, and then this is going to get lots of tape to make sure it stays down good. Okay, and then like that. And then this piece here is 3 3/4 by 5. And that goes just like that. This piece right here is going to be 2 3/4 by 2 1/4. And we're just going to tie a piece of ribbon and make a little bow down here. And then this is the last piece of DSP, and it is 2 by 2. And there is several bows in this set, and I used this one that's kind of a cross hatch bow, and I'm going to just stamp it right in the middle. Now unfortunately it doesn't go clear across, so I just took a Stampin' Right marker, took the pointy end, and I just freehand, which you could use a ruler if you want, but I just trusted I could draw straight enough line to go the rest of the way, but I can't draw that big of a bow nicely. So that's what I did there. And then I'm just going to put this straight down on that. Then there's 2 banners here, and I'm just going to take a little bit of glue and I'm just going to plop these guys up here. Then we're going to stamp out our sentiment, a couple hats, then another koala, and a lion. So our koala again, we stamp down and then onto our die cut. The sentiment, I'm going to do the happy birthday. I think I'm going to do it in the Bermuda this time. So there's that one. Let's see, the hat, I think we will do one in, let's do it stamped off in mango. And let's do one stamped off in Bermuda. Then we're going to do our lion. You're going to solid stamp off. Stamp off the face, the top. You have to find it where it sets. And it's easiest if you have the die cuts. If you don't, if you have the whole bundle, then you can stamp first and then cut out. But if you don't, take the die cuts, lay it upright, your die down, and then the tail. Okay. The body, don't stamp off. Okay. And then take your face, and with a dimensional, put your face in the middle of the face there. And I use a glue dot for the tail because it gives it a little bit of dimension. And I use glue dots for the head to the body. We should do the face for koala. I'm going to use wet glue for these guys because I don't want them with dimension because our flap's going to go on there. And they're going to be standing on the box. Go ahead and put their hats on them. Now let's grab them some pom-poms. This happy birthday goes on this little black scallop. This one I am going to put on some dimensionals because it's going to go on our front. Just like that. Okay, so it says happy birthday, then you open it up and you got your little guys in the front. So there is our cards. You have the one with the fold, this nice easy, and then our fancy strips. That's our card for today. I hope you enjoyed this online class, and I hope you will join me for another one later in May. Thank you so much. Bye.